KTRS.
651 here, Big 550 KTRS. ABC News from Washington, D.C., Kenneth Moton. Kenneth, welcome back, Big 550 KTRS.
Good morning, McGraw.
All right, so President Obama made a little bit of news yesterday talking with Chris Wallace on Fox.
He really did. He said that the worst mistake of his presidency was the day after toppling the Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi.
And the reason why?
The reason why is because he says he put too much trust in European leaders like UK Prime Minister David Cameron and Nicolas Sarkozy, the then French president, because he thought that they would follow up. Being in proximity and close to Libya, he thought that they would help prop up a stable government and do things to help the Libyan people, and he says that didn't happen.
Yeah, so I'm very confused by this. It was a, I don't want to say it was a throwaway answer, but it was a quick answer. Normally politicians love to give 45-minute answers. So it was a quick answer, but his biggest mistake was that Europe didn't follow up?
Well, and he says that he put too much trust in those European leaders because this was a point in his presidency. You remember, let's take it back to 2011. Right before the 2012 election, the president who campaigned on, being against the invasion of Iraq, who campaigned against being the world's police and putting boots on the ground. He says this was a U.S.-led intervention, but then the power was given to NATO. The power was given to Europe to go in and follow up with Libya. And so he says there were interests and values of the U.S. that needed to be upheld and that were at risk if we didn't go in and topple Gaddafi. But at this point, he says it was all about the follow-up.
Yeah. Now, remember, this also sort of Benghazi gets thrown into all of this with his Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, and also that Arab Spring, right? So I mean, let's remember all this correctly. It was the middle of a civil war in which NATO sort of went in to try and make some type of peace, right?
Right. And if you look at Benghazi, it was, remember, originally what was said to the U.S. people, that first it was a protest that got out of hand, and then it turned out to be a terrorist attack. And when did Secretary Clinton know what? And so we know that there have been hearings on Capitol Hill about that are still ongoing.
Right. Yeah. And so as much as people want to, I find that answer very interesting. I guess that's why it garnered so much attention. He also said his best day was signing Obamacare.
Right, the Affordable Care Act. Let's face it, the president is in reflection mode, with only 7-8 months left in office.
Right.
And so he was asked also, what was your best moment? And it was the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah, which gives a lot of red meat to his people who are not on his side of the aisle. All right, Kenneth Moton, ABC News, Washington, D.C. Good stuff. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you.
6:55 here, Big 550.